Hi, everyone. It's Sharron Jamison, the CEO and founder of the Jamison Group. I hope that you can join me. Just came back from Chicago, meeting with a group of mid leaders, mid managers in a pharmaceutical company. So I hope you can join me. Want to share some thoughts about some information that I think will be helpful to you. Hey, Venice, thank you for joining me. I want to leave 4 ideas. Hey, Marcella, of what to do. Hey, Davis, when you find yourself in the midst of a professional storm. This is when you're in an organization, when you're in a corporation where you feel that people are starting to sabotage you. This is what I want you to understand. Sometimes people are not after you. They're after the goal. They're after the prize. They're after the promotion. And if we don't understand that, sometimes we're going to take their challenges personally versus look at their challenges strategically. So I want to leave you with 4 things I want you to think about when you feel challenged or threatened or intimidated in a professional corporate setting. The first thing I want you to remember, the word CALM. CALM is the acronym that we're going to use. Hey, Jackie and Miss Bean. The first thing I want you to remember is that you are called because you are competent. You are called because you are competent. You are good at your job. I think sometimes when we are challenged in a corporate setting, we start to question our competence. We start to question our ability and our capacity. And when we start questioning how good we are, we stop performing at a high level. Hey, LaRonda and Lauren. So it's really important to remember that even though you are challenged, that's normal. It's not always personal. Remember, other people are just as motivated as you are. So remember in the back of your mind that you have this position because you are competent. You are called because you are competent. You can do the job. You have the expertise. You have the education. And don't let anything make you question your qualifications, because if you do, it will affect your ability to perform at a high level. So the C is remember that you are called because you are competent. The second thing I want you to remember when you are facing a challenge or struggle in the corporate setting is that to be aware of your attitude, to be aware of your attitude. Hey, Cindy, what happens when we are challenged in corporate America? People will start poking holes at our confidence. And what happens is that we start to doubt ourselves and we start having a bad attitude, or we start feeling start pitying ourselves. Remember, you're powerful, not pitiful. When you start feeling defeated and when you start feeling deflated, immediately that's when you need to reach out for help. Don't wait till you're in a pit when you no longer feel that good about your performance, when you are on an improvement plan, or when you start feeling that people are starting to question your competency. When you start feeling internally that you start to feel less than, reach out and start getting help. Reach out and get coaching. Reach out and get an advisor. Reach out and get a mentor. Don't wait till you hit rock bottom. So I want you to remember you called because you're competent, you are qualified for the job. To be aware of your attitude. Make sure you understand what's going on inside, because it's not what kills us on the outside that defeats you. It's what happens on the inside that defeats you. It's those enemies in your mind that start to remind you of every mistake, every misinterpretation, every misstep, and those things start to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you start feeling defeated. The L is for listen. Listen to lifters. Listen, everybody can't lift you. When I talk about lifters, I'm talking about people who have been there, who have done that, who have the t-shirt and the hat. You want people who have been at your level, people who have that same experience or greater, people who have dealt with the same challenges or greater. Sometimes when we get in a challenging situation in a corporate setting, we go ask our friends. If our friends have never been leaders, why are we talking to them? You want to talk to people who you can leverage, who can lift you because they have expertise that you need, lift you because they have resources that you need. It's so important to think about who is a trusted advisor that can help me in this space, that I can leverage their expertise. Hey, Stephen, I can leverage their resources. If a person is not a lifter, while you're listening, listen to your intuition and listen to lifters, people who know more, who have been through what you've been through, who have already ascended to a level in their career or in their entrepreneurial journey, who can give you good advice. Everybody can't advise you. Some people have not been where you're going. And then sometimes people are secret haters. And if you ask them, you give them ammunition that one day they will turn around and shoot you with it. Remember, everybody in your team is not your friend. Some people want your position. So we have to make sure that we talk to and get advice from people who are lifters. And the M is for maintain momentum. What happens sometimes when we feel challenged or intimidated in a corporate setting, or you feel that you are in a crisis and that you don't have the expertise or the knowledge base to navigate in a crisis, what happens is we start losing momentum. We start sinking in ourselves. We start sinking in our creativity. We start sinking in our ingenuity. We start sinking in our ability to be strategic because we start getting in our emotions. One of the things we have to try to do is when we get into that emotional state is to try to maintain some objectivity, because if you get emotional, you will lose your competitive edge because you will not be able to look at the picture and strategize. Remember, when we get stuck in our feelings, sometimes we don't look at the facts. And you need to look at the facts. You need to look at the data. You need to look at the analytics to help you understand what the key performance indicators are so that you can move in the right direction. You need to maintain momentum. And momentum might not mean that you go up. Momentum might mean that you go to the side and gain resources and connect with new people and to join some alliances. Remember, sometimes when you're in corporate settings, you can't fight for yourself. You need to join with alliances or some allies so that you have the power and you have the voice, the voice and the visibility you need to navigate toxic and troubled waters in our corporate jobs. Hi, Kevin and Stephen. We will always go through challenges. Corporations are changing. Technology has changed the game. You need a different level of competencies, and some of us have not been developing our competencies along the way. So that's one thing we need to always think about. What do I need to do now and next to stay relevant? What do I need to do now and next to stay efficient? What do I need to do now and next to be an asset? It doesn't matter if you're visible if you're not vital or valuable. You want to be visible, but be considered vital and valuable because you are making a difference. You're making an impact on the key performance indicators that the CFOs think are important. It doesn't matter if you're doing something that you think it's important. What does the corporation think is important, and are you moving the needle? You need to be a needle mover. So again, I just want to say, you will face storms in corporate America. It's not personal. People are also competitive, and if you have the prize job, they're coming after you, but they're not coming after you personally. They're coming after the position. And if you're going to be in a high visibility position, just know, of course, you're going to have the light, but anybody who has the light need to be able to manage in the heat. People will become gunning for you, and it's not personal. So again, remember that you are called to a position because you are competent, you are qualified, you have the expertise and experience needed to be successful. Don't forget that. Right? Yes, Venice and Avis, don't forget that. 2, be aware of your attitude. The thing that will sink you first if you have a bad attitude. The thing that will sink you first is that if you no longer believe in yourself. What will sink you is that if you have a negative disposition because you feel defeated. We want to make sure that we are aware of our attitudes, and don't wait till you fall down. When you start slipping, reach out for help. Reach out for help and get some motivation, get some information, get some inspiration, get some coaching, get what you need. Don't hit ground bottom and then you're in a pit and then you can't get back up. L, listen to lifters. If a person has not been where you have been, they don't have the expertise, they're good people, but why are you talking to them about what's happening in your job? Find people who you can leverage that have the expertise and the experience and the knowledge base that you need. People who have data, people who have analytics, people who understand. Yes, Ava, it's a culture. Every company has a culture. And if you don't know the culture, you can't navigate. You need to understand the waters that you swim in. And if you don't know the waters that you swim in, you're going to drown. So it's really important to understand the waters that you swim in so you can navigate from a place of competence versus a place of feeling downtrodden. Remember, your attitude is everything. And the M is don't lose momentum. Maintain momentum in the midst of the madness. I'm going to say that again. Maintain momentum in the midst of the madness. Because guess what? If you're going to be a leader, you always are going to be navigating and you always are going to be maneuvering. And part of being a leader is having influence. And sometimes being a leader means that you're going to be leading when people don't want to follow. I cannot tell you, I'm usually the only black woman in the room, and I'm usually sometimes the only person of color in the room, and I get challenged all the time. But in the back of my mind, I always tell myself, Sharron, you're a smart chick. And not only you are here by yourself, I'm here with, I love what Maya Angelou said, with all my ancestors with me. So I never believe that I'm sitting in the room by myself, but I get help because I know I don't know it all, but I'm aware of what I don't know, and I'm aware of where I'm competent, but I don't get careless, because sometimes we get competent and we get careless because we stop developing our expertise. Growth is not a destination. It is a lifestyle. It is not. You don't have goals. You have a commitment to grow, and you should always be growing. And we should always need to be growing, not only on our skill but our relationships. Because sometimes, even if you're not good, if people like you, they will let you float and will give you grace. Believe me, sometimes I have been in rooms. I know I was not the best qualified, but I'm likable, I'm coachable, and I'm a good leader. And sometimes that's all you need. You need people to like you enough to invest their time and their talent in you. And that's why people mentor me. It's not because I'm good. It's because I get along with people. And then so what if people calls you a kiss up? Guess what? So what? You've been called worse names, and I've been called kiss up. So what? I'm a kiss up all the way to the bank, right? So I want you to think about this, and I want you to think about in January. It's interesting. My business is changing, and I'm dealing with a lot of corporate leaders and managers. So I might be starting a group in January, because I think there's a place that we need to have these conversations, and people won't tell the truth because they're embarrassed. I want to tell you, I have failed a lot in corporate America. I have been successful a lot in corporate America. But it is important to share your stories, because when we exchange expertise and exchange knowledge, we all get stronger, better together. Remember, you're always sometimes the only one, and you cannot fight an army by yourself. And even if people are not in a room with you, you want to make sure you have access to other women who have done what you are destined to do, because you are destined for greatness, because you came to this world fully equipped to make a difference. So I want to encourage you to reach out to other women who are in this corporate setting, in this manager setting. I want you to reach out to me. I would love to help you. I've been in corporate America for 33 years, since I graduated from college in the mid-'80s. I have been at all different sales, marketing, national account, and negotiation. So I want to make sure that we help each other. Yes, trust is so important. Denise, trust is so important. However, trust needs to be tested, but people will trust you if you show yourself trustworthy. And that means that we are not always are trying to gun for a person's position. And emotional intelligence is very, very important, Avis, absolutely. But also adaptability intelligence is important. And collaborative intelligence is very important. And conversational intelligence is important. There's a lot of different ways to be smart. And so we want to make sure that we know the different ways to be smart, so we can be successful successful, so we can be effective, so we can be competent, so we can have capacity to lead. But you need emotional intelligence, conversational intelligence, adaptive intelligence, financial intelligence. You need all these other skills, soft skills, as well as project management skills to be successful. Remember, sisterhood can be a strategy if you know how to be a sister to other women, but also share. Yes, and also share with our brothers. Believe me, most of my mentors have been men and have allowed me and helped me navigate in very toxic weather. So I want you to think about joining us in January. I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's going to be something for leaders under my other company, the Leadership Boutique. And also, again, we're going to talk about some of these issues in Dare to Be Me, because I think that if we understand that leadership starts from the inside out, when you feel competent, when you feel courageous, when you feel clear, when you feel that you have capacity, when you feel congruent, when you feel that you have a ability to be committed, when you feel that you have ability to articulate complexity in a way that it makes it palatable, that's when you can be successful. And so we're going to talk about all of that in the Dare to Be Me Masterclass that starts November the 3rd. So thank you so much. Oh, Dr. Kara Highsmith, let me tell you, she is an amazing speaker and an author, but also she's a consultant, and I'm sure that she can share her own thoughts about the importance of navigating in a corporate setting from a place of power, from a place of peace, but from a place of purpose. When you know who you are and you know your strengths, you can interact with people from a place of confidence, and not cockiness, but confidence. And when people know that you're confident, they stand behind you, because people are more apt to follow a competent person. Nobody wants to follow a scary leader. Nobody wants to follow somebody who's squeamish. Nobody wants to follow a person who's indecisive. So it's really, really important to remember that leadership starts from the inside out. And I look forward for us talking about a membership group in January, when we can have these conversations, these open, honest conversations about what it takes to be a black woman, a woman, but also a woman of color in a corporate setting where many times you're the only one and you don't have alliances and you don't have associations to help you navigate those corporate waters. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing, hopefully, some of you in the Dare to Be Me Masterclass that starts November the 3rd. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you. And thanks so much for joining me. Blessings. Stay calm in the storm. You have what it takes. Let's dare to soar higher.